Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. So in our last video we talked about a networking device called a switch. We talked about how it allows multiple devices to be connected to each other and also how you can connect a switch to a router to expand your network. So check that video out if you haven't already. Well, an access point is a networking device that allows multiple devices to connect to it wirelessly. Things like smartphones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs and so on. So just like a switch allows for multiple wired connections, an access point allows for multiple wireless connections. And these connections can be made at a good distance too. Think about all the wireless devices that you have in your home or in your office: phones, tablets, computers, smart TVs, smart light bulbs, smart doorbells, smart thermostats, etc. All of those devices are wireless clients. Let's say you have a two-story house and you have a wireless router on the first floor. If it's too far away, it won't work. Like I said before, an access point connected to a wireless router is probably the most common type of access point. This can be especially useful if you're in an area with a weak Wi-Fi signal. These are used to extend the range of a wireless network outside of your home or office. They are usually larger than indoor access points and they are designed to withstand the elements. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you learned something new. Remember to like, comment and share if you think others will enjoy it too. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to have a wireless network in your backyard or parking lot, then you'll need to get an outdoor access point. By connecting an access point to your computer, you can create a hotspot that you and your devices can connect to. When you connect an access point to a wireless router, it's important to make sure that they are on the same network. What I mean by that is that they both need to have the same SSID and password. Otherwise, the access point won't be able to connect to the router. Most of the time this is done automatically when you plug the access point into the router. However, sometimes you might need to manually enter the SSID and password of your wireless router into the access point. If you're not sure how to do this, then check the documentation for your particular access point. Some routers actually come with the option of turning them into an access point, which means that you can save money by not buying a separate access point. You just need to make sure that you get a router that supports this feature. These are usually small devices that fit in the wall or sit on a desk. They're really easy to set up and can be a great way to extend the range of your wireless network. You just need to make sure that you get one that's compatible with your router and that it's close enough to the router to pick up its signal. Also, an access point needs to be connected to power. Otherwise, it won't work either. But if you can get an access point close enough to the router and you plug it in, then you should have a much stronger signal throughout a larger area. The router is in the living room and you have a really strong signal in that room, but upstairs you don't have a very strong signal at all. The walls and the floors are really obstructing the signal. So what do? You could move the router upstairs, but then you'd have a weak signal downstairs. You could try to put the router in a different location upstairs, but then you might still have dead spots. The best solution is to install an access point upstairs near where you spend most of your time. Then when you connect the access point to the wireless router, it takes the signal from the router, rebroadcasts it and gives you a much stronger signal throughout the second floor. If you have a lot of them, they might start to slow down because there's only one router to handle all of them. When you add an access point to the network, you essentially give the clients more options to connect to, which makes everything run smoother. Unlike a switch which requires a physical connection through a cable. See, every time your laptop or smartphone needs to communicate with the router, it has to use a certain amount of energy to transmit and receive a signal. If the signal is weak, your device will have to put out more energy to try to make up for it. This results in a faster drain on the battery. So having a strong signal throughout your home or office not only benefits your network, but also the battery life of your devices. In this video we are going to talk about another type of networking device called an access point. So let's jump into it. Okay, so what is an access point? Now an access point on its own doesn't do a whole lot. It needs to be connected to something more, something that has internet connectivity. Without that, it's pretty useless. Is that it allows multiple wireless devices to connect to it. But here's the question, why would you want to do that? Well, let me tell you. Let's say you have a wireless router with a decent amount of power. The router itself might have a range of around 150 feet or maybe even a little further. However, in real-life scenarios, you often find dead spots or areas where you get a very weak signal. Maybe you have a big house or a big office building, or maybe there are walls, floors and doors that are obstructing the signal. Whatever the reason, having one wireless router with a decent amount of power isn't enough to cover a large area. That's where an access point connected to that router comes in. The access point will take the signal from the wireless router and rebroadcast it, extending the range of the wireless network. This allows you to have a stronger signal throughout a larger area. In most cases, an access point is connected to a router. You see, a router gives your network its internet connectivity. Without it, your network is basically useless. So an access point connected to a router gives internet connectivity to all those wireless devices. Now there are some scenarios where you might connect an access point directly to a computer with a USB connection, but that's pretty rare. We'll talk about that later on. The most important thing about an access point though, another advantage of having a wireless access point, is that it allows you to have many more wireless clients on the network. And finally, having a wireless access point with a stronger signal throughout your home or office helps with the battery life of your wireless devices. Alright, now let's take a look at a real-life scenario where you might want to use an access point. Now it's important to remember that an access point will only give you a stronger signal if it's close enough to the router to pick up its signal. Alright, now let's take a look at a few different types of access points. Another type of access point is one that you can connect directly to a computer with a USB cable. And finally, there are outdoor access points. Now before we end this video, I want to mention one more thing. Well, that about wraps it up for this video.